So we woke up this morning and realized it has officially been 1 year since we have landed here in Guatemala.
Which is crazy.
We've of course left a few times, but we think that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think we have had such a fantastic year in Guatemala, and we just wanted to talk about it with you.
Right.
We wanted to share a little bit of our perspective and our year in review.
Yeah, so pretty much what we're going to be talking about is why we chose Guatemala, what has really surprised us the most, the hardest parts since being here, and what really has changed in us.
So why we chose Guatemala was, well, really Chris gave me kind of like FOMO. We've talked about this a little bit before, but when we were dating, all throughout dating, he was telling me about how wonderful Guatemala was because he had just gotten back from volunteering, I think.
Yeah, earlier that year, I had been volunteering at a surf hostel in El Paredon, which is closer towards like the Pacific coast here in Guatemala. Ended up traveling around this beautiful country for a better part of 6 months and really fell in love with just everything there is to do with the culture, the people, the landscapes, the food. I mean, just kind of everything that makes Guatemala what it is.
Yeah.
And I guess I couldn't stop talking about it.
So he made me jealous, and we had already planned on kind of living abroad at some point, or
learning another language.
Learning another language, and Spanish kind of felt like a very easy first step. Spanish being one of the most achievable languages for us to probably learn.
Yeah, and smartest, geographically coming from the US.
Exactly.
And Spanish being also one of the more spoken languages in the world.
Exactly. So. We were also thinking of proximity to the States, being able to go back and forth. And, my brother got married last year, and it was really special to be able to travel back and go to his wedding and be involved and just be home for activities like that. That's something that we care about. We wanted to make sure that we could
be home to family when needed.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
And we also were starting this content creation journey, right? Our YouTube channel, and or at least really trying to make it a career, really trying to hone in and learn YouTube and learn how it is to be in front of a camera, because I'll tell you right now, it's very difficult for me.
For us,
and we realized that YouTube did not have a lot of information about Guatemala on these things, these questions that you're asking us that we wanted to answer. And I knew that, we could be that voice.
Absolutely. So. And we had an idea. We had done a little bit of filming on our honeymoon, which got us monetized on this YouTube channel. And so that kind of gave us a taste for what full-time travel vloggers or content creators could look like for us. And we were very interested to see if that was something that was even possible. And we wanted to give Guatemala a chance on us and vice versa. And so it has been such a wonderful time traveling this entire country this year and getting to see so much of it.
Yeah, the reason why we chose Guatemala as well is affordability.
Oh yeah.
It's so close to the States, but you can have so many different levels of luxury here. You can have a backpacker budget kind of travel, do a lot more volunteering or homestays, while
or you can come and just take Spanish school for weeks, months, or you can go up to these
incredible luxurious stays.
And so that was a really unique reason that we came to Guatemala, because it was so affordable, so we could afford to have multiple experiences.
100%. So one of the main things that surprised us being here the most in Guatemala is really just how long it takes to get anywhere here.
Yes.
This country is only the size of Tennessee, to put that into perspective. So
not very big, but it took us 10 hours to get to Semuc Champey.
From Antigua.
From Antigua, which is 2 hours from the lake.
It's this tiny, going across the map. And it seems like such a small distance when you look at it distance-wise, but it takes you so long to get around.
To travel and get around.
And so
we did a 2-week trip and filmed the whole thing. If you guys want to go check it out, it was a lot of fun.
So much fun.
But the roughest part of that 2-week trip was getting off an 8-hour bus ride, or a shuttle rather, to have a full day in that destination, and then getting on another shuttle the next day that's 10 hours long or something, and it can just weigh on you a little bit. And so that was one of the things that has genuinely surprised us about Guatemala.
We learned definitely that there is a thing here called La Hora Chapina, which is
if you're late, you're on time.
Pretty much.
We come from a very, in the United States, if you're not 10 minutes early, you're late kind of mentality. At least that's how we were both raised anyway.
For sure. And then you get here, and if you're 20 minutes late at some places, some parties, some events,
it hasn't even started
you're
yet.
Way early.
You're setting up.
You're
part of the setup
part of the setup.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing, because that means they leave room for life to interrupt them, and we love that they leave room for random interactions
on the way
street.
to our English teaching classes that we do here in town. We'll just get into conversation so often with people and find ourselves late getting
all
there.
The time. Yeah.
And it's not that it's encouraged or
it's acceptable.
But it's acceptable because people realize, oh, you left something at home and you need to take public transportation or walk because you don't take public
transportation. Yeah.
And so it's very much so different flow of life.
Yeah.
I guess I would say.
But it's been really enjoyable to adapt to that and to enjoy it
100%.
for us.
It's not a complaint, It's
not a complaint. It's just something that shocked us.
Another thing that I forgot at least about is Spanish not being the second language.
Yeah, that is kind of just like mind blowing when you think about it. It's like you assume that Spanish is the first language here, but it's not. There's like 21 or 27 different dialects of the Mayan language here.
Or different Mayan languages, however it's supposed to be.
It's just a lot of people here still speak that as their first language and they learn Spanish as the common language. And that's so crazy.
Yeah.
But it's also why they're probably so patient with you when you're trying to learn Spanish or speak Spanish to them, because they also had to go through that and learn a second language. And that's a really special thing. But it was something that kind of blew our minds when we got here. It was like, oh my gosh, they're speaking Sutuhil. They're not speaking
Kachikal.
It's so cool.
It's the culture here, the Mayan heritage, the Mayan culture that's still alive here is very interesting to see, very incredible to see, and that's another thing that kind of drew us here.
Yeah, we have learned so much this year about Mayan culture and traditional culture here in Guatemala, and it has been just one of the most special experiences I've ever had. Like when we went to Tikal, I told him that was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was just
so much fun.
What a wonderful time we had.
The amount of history, the amount of nature, the amount of information, and the amount of just culture that we got to experience in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I guess one of the harder parts that I personally have experienced since being here in Guatemala has really nothing to do with the country itself, but starting the business, starting our content creation journey up again, making these YouTube videos. I don't necessarily feel super comfortable on camera. I'm a perfectionist, she'll tell you.
Yes.
I just really care about what I do, that's to a fault.
Yeah, he has so much pride in his work and everything he puts his hands to, and it's a great quality to have, but it can make content creation really, really hard.
Yeah, because it takes me way too long to do things because I'm so worried about it being perfect, no one getting offended, making sure I'm portraying the correct information about a country and a culture and a language and people that aren't mine.
Exactly.
Right? And so it's a lot of pressure.
We're so sorry if you hear Mango, by the way.
We got a dog that barks all the time. Mango!
Come here, baby. Anyway.
So when we have some of our viewers reaching out saying like, oh, we would love to buy you lunch, we would love to buy you dinner, like can we see you when we're in San Pedro? And I'm like, I don't know how to tell people that I work 15 hours a day because I am such a perfectionist, and I'm really trying to get over that and really embrace.
I know he makes this look super easy, but it is really time consuming to sit down and do some of these videos and constantly be on the creative side of life and always be looking for something to make next or something to take 100%. And what your shots lined up.
And I think I went too fast, I guess. I spread myself too thin. I did Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, YouTube and YouTube Shorts, long form, thinking about videos, planning videos, editing videos, shooting them, and also having a relationship with my wife and enjoying this beautiful country and volunteering and teaching English and going on dates.
And filming experiences.
And so and it's really hard.
Yeah.
I've never, been an entrepreneur that I've felt like, but I have traveled extensively over the last 8 years of my life and fallen in love with travel and learning about other cultures and showing people back home, back in the US, that the world's not that scary.
Yeah.
And so kind of to bring this full circle would be that's really been the hardest part. Not necessarily, Guatemala's made it so easy. Yes. Thankfully, there's fast internet here. The people are so kind.
Yes.
I love getting out into the community so much, and that's why it's so hard, that we haven't spent so much time learning Spanish because I've been learning YouTube. And I've been putting everything in. Sorry, I've been talking so much.
I think I agree. One of the hard parts of being here in Guatemala is the language barrier, and we have been so busy prioritizing our business and each other and our relationship and all those other things that we have not spent a lot of time and committed a lot of time to learn Spanish.
Right.
We also had a limited budget and couldn't afford to go to school full time, and so we've been learning Spanish on the streets, real time with real locals.
Yeah, speaking with the people on the street and in the markets, and really just practicing the small conversations. So we can't really get into the super deep conversations yet,
Right.
unfortunately. And I do feel bad about being here almost a year and barely being able to just get my point across in Spanish. But poco a poco, we are definitely trying. We love learning Spanish.
Yes.
So just bear with us as we hopefully at some point start introducing more Spanglish.
And we will.
Yeah.
We're going to get better at it. We're committing in this new year, in this new chapter, to really buckle down and get good at this language. But it has been one of the difficulties that we faced being in Guatemala. So
For sure.
all right, and then last but not least, we want to talk about what's changed us, all the things that have changed us for the positive and that has made us just better as people. Firstly, I think our relationship has benefited so much. We're so much more resilient as a couple, as a business partners, as everything. We have grown so much together here in Guatemala. We've had tons of hard conversations. We've had breakdowns and, a
lot of mental breakdowns.
a lot of mental breakdowns. And it's just been such a great year for us to grow in our relationship with each other and to see what we're made of, and challenge ourselves and test ourselves.
Yeah, I've definitely become more patient with myself and with her, and just with learning how to love each other better in Guatemala, and traveling around with your partner throughout the corners of a country. And
full time, we're around each other all the time.
With the roads being bad, and all of a sudden there has been a landslide, and we're just trying to figure out
We're rolling with the punches.
problems together, and it really has benefited our relationship traveling full time. It's been incredible.
Even with our limited Spanish that we have, it has been so easy to get plugged in to people and communities and to families and to events and to experience all of these amazing festivals and culture. And it seriously, it has changed who we are to experience culture like this so up close.
Yeah.
And to get so involved. I mean, and Nidia is just such a wonderful example. We talk about Nidia all the time. We love her so much, but she has been such a great liaison and guiding us into the Guatemalan culture and understanding the voice of the people, and just
she helped us find the previous house we were renting through Dora, and we volunteer and teach English, and we get invited to different cultural events around town that we would have never known if it hadn't been for her. And like she said, with our limited Spanish, we're being able to get involved with so many different things around Christmas, and the Guatemalan people have been so kind. We've been able to, I guess, just leave our comfort zone even more so, even though we don't speak the language.
Yeah, the pace of life here and the community and just the overall friendliness and love and empathy that the Guatemalan people give us on a regular basis has changed us from the inside out. It has made us better people. It has made us more patient with each other, more patient with other travelers, other people that we encounter. It has just improved our life immensely. And this entire year in Guatemala has just been the wildest, craziest roller coaster. And we're so grateful that you have been here to join us for it. And if you're just now tuning in, thanks for watching.
For sure. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. We've had so much fun answering your comments over the past year, and we hope to continue answering them and getting involved here in Guatemala. We don't know how long we'll be here, but we're getting involved in the community, loving life here, building this business, answering questions, and trying to get more people to come here, spend money in the local communities, and get in part of this amazing ethical tourism you can have here in this gorgeous country.
Absolutely. So like you said, if you have any questions about Guatemala or about us in general, just drop them in the comment section, like it, share it, all that jazz.
We do have a Patreon if you're interested in supporting us. The link is also down in the description. And other than that,
we'll see you later.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
See ya. Where's Mango?
Over there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Hello, you go. Come on. Okay, wrong way.
You want to get up? He wants to get up.
I know, but he doesn't like 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Ready?
Yeah. Oh, Lily too.
Right.
Hi, Lily. Oh.
Oh, hi, Lily. What a big happy family.
Hi, Lily.
What a good girl.
Your breath reeks.
Come on. Come on.